Summer of 2012. I was a canoe guide in the Boundary Waters, a wilderness area straddling Minnesota and Ontario. Millions of acres of lakes, forests, and not much else. My job was to lead Boy Scout expeditions. Week-long trips, sometimes longer. Most of them were routine. This one wasn't.
How much further, Mark?
Almost to the portage, guys. Keep pushing. We're making good time.
Pace yourself, Kevin. It's not a race.
This crew was challenging. They booked a 200-miler, a real endurance test, but they weren't ready. I had to reroute us, shorten the trip. They were disappointed. So, I decided to take them to Eddy Falls. A little detour, a little reward. Big mistake.
Wow, this is awesome. Way better than just paddling all day.
All right, guys, set up camp. Visors, fire duty.
Unpack your gear. Start gathering kindling.
I'll get some more firewood. I was maybe 50 yards from camp, deep in this mess of branches and brambles. The falls were just a faint roar to my left. And then I heard it.
Mark, what was that?
Probably just a boar. Big one.
There aren't any boars up here, Mark.
Right. Well, must have been something else. Just be careful out there. They knew I was lying, but they didn't push it. Maybe they didn't want to know. After dinner, they all went to their tents. I retreated to my hammock, strung up about 50 yards from camp. It must have been around 3 or 4 in the morning. I woke up to this sobbing like a woman, heartbroken, but off. It was walking through the camp, heavy footsteps, and it was coming towards me. It was right there, inches away. I could feel its presence, massive. I had to do something. By the time I found my flashlight, it was gone.
What are you reading, Mark?
Oh, just a guidebook. They'd slept through the whole thing. I decided not to tell them. What could I say? A giant, hairy ape thing was standing over me while I slept? Yeah, that wouldn't go over well. We were a few miles closer to base camp. New campsite, same feeling of dread.
I saw it. A gorilla. It ran right past the Grumper.
A gorilla here?
Are you sure it wasn't a bear?
Absolutely not. I've hunted bear for years. This was no bear. It was a monkey, 9 feet tall.
9 feet tall? If I touched its chest at 6 feet, that puts its head right where he said. Was it stalking us? Were there more of them? All right, guys, let's get through this pinch quickly. We'll camp on Moose Lake, near base. I suggested a night paddle. Nobody was sleeping anyway. My plan was to get back to base camp as fast as possible.
What was that?
Paddle, paddle hard. It came from the tree line. No cliff. It was thrown, with force. We tied canoes together in the middle of the vast lake. The scouts and advisors huddled together, shivering, their faces illuminated by their headlamps. We spent the rest of the night like that, adrift, terrified, waiting for sunrise. We made it. They didn't want to talk about what happened, and frankly, neither did I. They left for Oklahoma the next day. Hey, Justin, how was your trip?
It was good until we hit Knife Lake and Newfound.
What happened?
We were messed with for 2 nights on Knife, screams, things moving around our camp, and then someone threw a rock at us in the Newfound pinch.
It wasn't just us.
Then we heard this howling, like nothing I've ever heard before.
We saw footprints, huge ones, near the portage.
Something kept circling our camp all night. We could hear it breathing.
It's about time somebody else seen one.
You've seen them? How long have you known they were there?
10 years, maybe more.
10 years? And you never said anything?
They talk to me.
Talk like a language?
Nah, telepathic, I guess. The less you acknowledge them, the less they bother you. But they can read you. They like it when you're afraid. It's a game to them.
That's what sticks with me. Not just the creature itself, but the intelligence, the psychic ability, the idea that they know us better than we know ourselves. I still think about it. What was it, Sasquatch? Something else? I don't know, but I know it was real. And I know it's still out there, watching, waiting, playing its game.